What if I told you that your fear of taking action is the only thing standing between you and a rich life in every sense of the word? Would you dare to face it today, or will you let it steal another 10 years? Many believe wealth is a matter of luck, contacts, or inheritance. But the truth, the raw and powerful truth, is that there are eternal, spiritual principles that have transformed thousands, and can transform your life too. This is not just another video. Here, you'll discover how to unlock your scarcity mindset, eliminate the brake of fear, and activate a real path to prosperity, based on spiritual principles that have been ignored by entire generations. Let me warn you, if you apply what you're about to learn, your life may be unrecognizable 6 months from now. So hit like right now, comment below with your biggest fear, and share this video with someone who needs a shot of courage. Because freedom begins with a single decision: to break the invisible chains that hold you back. Have you ever been paralyzed by fear, even when you knew it made no sense? Fear of the dark is the perfect example. Darkness has never killed anyone. Yet millions tremble when the lights go out. Why? Because fear doesn't obey logic. It obeys a brain program that hasn't been updated. We live as if we were in the jungle, surrounded by invisible dangers. But in reality, the biggest predator lives inside us, the beggar of fear, the one that whispers lies to keep us in the cage. The problem isn't feeling fear. The problem is living for it. Every time you avoid something out of fear, you're giving away your power. You're saying, "I'd rather stay small than risk growing." And the worst part? Fear doesn't stay still. If you give it a piece today, tomorrow it'll take everything. Fear doesn't stagnate. It multiplies if not confronted. Why does your body sometimes react before you even think? That's no accident. It's biology. It's design. And if you don't understand it, you'll keep getting manipulated by a powerful machine called your brain. Your fear follows a path. And that path has 5 stations. First, the thalamus receives the information. It's like a hotel reception, everything passes through there. Then, it sends it to the prefrontal cortex, which tries to analyze what's happening, decide whether it's real or not. But here's the trick: while the cortex is thinking, the amygdala has already triggered the emergency alarm. The hippocampus compares what you're experiencing to past events. If you've ever failed in public, if you've ever been rejected, that's where the files are. And finally, the hypothalamus activates the physical response: sweating, shaking, racing heart. All in milliseconds. It's as if the brain were a factory that reacts based on the past, not the present. That's why you feel terrified of public speaking, scared to start a business, panicked to say no, even if there's no real threat. Your brain was designed to protect you from a lion. But now it paralyzes you in front of an Excel spreadsheet or a difficult conversation. And here's the painful truth: if you don't take control of that system, you'll live a life ruled by false alarms. Everything you admire in others today started with a single second of courage. 1 second. No more, no less. That moment when someone decides to raise their hand, send a message, quit, say yes, or say enough. And it's not an exaggeration. There are people today who are millionaires, have incredible families, or live their purpose, because they didn't let fear win that 1 second. The problem is that many underestimate the power of a moment. They wait to feel ready, secure, prepared. But preparation doesn't eliminate fear. Movement does. 1 second of courage can start a relationship that changes your life. It can open a professional door that seemed impossible. It can transform your finances, your faith, your entire environment. But the absence of that second also has a price: years of delay. I'm not exaggerating when I say entire lives have been held back for not seizing 1 second. People stuck in jobs they hate, toxic relationships, or purposeless routines because they didn't dare to act. And you? What would you be living today if 5 years ago you had said yes to that opportunity? Time waits for no one. But the good news is that second, that exact second that changes everything, can be today. Not prospering is also a form of irresponsibility. It sounds harsh, but it's real. There's a widespread mindset that says, I don't need much, I'm fine with little, God will provide. And while that sounds humble, many times it's just fear disguised as spirituality. Prosperity is not a whim. It's a responsibility. Because when you prosper, you can reach out, invest in others, change realities. But if you don't have, how can you give? Personal scarcity often turns into complicity with others' misery. Because those who get comfortable in limitation stop being a solution for those who need it most. And here comes a powerful principle: prosperity isn't for the bold by accident. It's because it requires courage. Courage to face limiting beliefs, to do what others won't, to break family patterns, to lead, to decide. Prospering demands a firm, steady, unshakable mindset. When you decide to prosper, you're not just changing your bank account. You're changing generations. You're breaking chains. You're shouting to the world, I didn't come to survive. I came to multiply. Are you ready to take on that responsibility? Your brain is the most powerful machine in existence, but it can also be your biggest saboteur. It was designed to protect you. But if you don't re-educate it, it will protect you even from the good, from necessary risks, from challenges that would make you grow, from decisions that would lead you to prosper. Why? Because the brain loves the familiar, even if it's painful. It prefers a familiar hell over an unknown heaven. That's why, every time you try to leave your comfort zone, it sets off an alarm: danger, discomfort, rejection, failure. That's where the CCC technique comes in: consciousness, control, and change. First, consciousness. You have to become aware of the automatic thoughts running your life. Thoughts like, I can't, I don't deserve it, it's too hard. Second, control. Once you identify those thoughts, you can stop them. Don't follow the automatic impulse. Breathe. Pause. Step back. Third, change. This is where the story gets rewritten. You replace the thought with a new one, powerful, aligned with your purpose. Repeated with intention, recorded with emotion, and reinforced with action. Your mind is not your enemy. It's a tool waiting for a leader. And if you don't lead it, fear will. Fear isn't eliminated. It's transformed. It's redefined. And those who don't learn to do that end up slaves to their own shadows. Fear has a treacherous trait: if you don't face it, it doesn't disappear. It grows. It disguises itself as caution, logic, or common sense. But deep down, it's still fear, fed by inaction. Here comes a principle that can change your life: action, result, and redefinition. First, action. Even with fear, act. Take a step. Make the call. Respond. Jump. Action is the first antidote to mental paralysis. Second, result. Once you act, you get a result. Sometimes it's positive. Sometimes it's not. But it's always a learning experience. Fear thrives on the unknown. And when you act, you turn it into experience. Third, redefinition. This is where you take that experience and give it new meaning. You stop seeing failure as proof you're not good enough and start seeing it as proof that you're growing. You change "I can't" to "not yet." "I failed" to "I learned." Your story isn't written in stone. Every fear you overcome rewrites a line. Every brave step, no matter how small, is a blow against the wall of mental scarcity. And the most powerful part: when you redefine your fear, you become a living inspiration for others. Your process becomes a map. What if I told you that the failures that hurt you most were actually the doors you most needed to close? I'm speaking from experience. I failed in law, where I spent years only to realize it wasn't for me. I failed in corporate life, following a path that wasn't mine. I even failed in family relationships, trying to maintain what wasn't healthy. But today I look back and understand, each of those failures was heaven screaming, "This isn't it." They weren't punishments. They were redirections. We live in a culture that hates mistakes, that mocks those who fall. But the truth is, if you haven't failed, you've probably never tried anything extraordinary. Failures don't define you. They reveal you. They reveal what doesn't work, what you don't want, what you need to change. And if you have the courage to read those messages, your failures become clues to your true destiny. Each fall can be a sign to stop, reflect, change course. But never to give up. If today you feel like nothing is working, maybe you're not failing. Maybe you're being redirected. And that, my friend, is part of the process for anyone truly destined to prosper.